This video will show how to display information about each of the solar system objects in Tidewater Planetarium. The view we're looking at here is called the full sky view, and it shows the sky from Earth in all directions at the same time, as if we could see right through the planet and fold out what we can see in the sky onto a flat rectangle. In the lower left-hand corner of the screen we see a list of all of the solar system objects in the model. Each one can display a locator circle, so we can find it in the sky, and it can have its name displayed. We can display each one individually with individual controls, or we can turn on all of the solar system locator circles and names at the same time with a single click. Let's just stick with Venus for the moment. In addition to each locator circle, next to each item on the list there's an oval with a small eye on it. If we click on that, we'll display information about that solar system object. So for instance, for Venus, we see data about Venus from Earth, including its distance at 54 million kilometers, its brightness at a -4 magnitude, which is a very bright object in the sky. Magnitudes, the smaller or lower they are, the brighter the object, so a -4 is very bright. Apparent size in degrees of arc, this is 0.01 degrees of arc. And its position in the sky, with a right ascension of 9 degrees, it's very close to the vernal equinox represented by the red vertical line, so just 9 degrees on our grid, which is 30 degrees per grid. And declination of 10.7 degrees, so 10.7 degrees above the equator projected on the sky. So Venus is very close to the origin or 0 point in astronomical references at the moment in our sky. The Sun from Venus is described in these data items: the distance of 107 million kilometers, its apparent magnitude of a glaring -27.5 magnitude, its apparent size of 0.74 degrees, which is almost 70 times as big in the sky as Venus is from Earth, and then data about Venus's orbit and the planet itself. So orbital data includes its 127,000 kilometers per hour. That's its rate of speed moving around on its own orbit around the Sun. Its perihelion, the closest it will get to the Sun, at 107 million kilometers. Its aphelion, the farthest it will get on its current orbit of 109 million kilometers. Its orbital inclination versus Earth of 3.4 degrees, and its mass of 2.2 trillion tons, as well as its diameter of 12,000 kilometers. We can display the same kind of information about every solar system object. So for instance, we could take a look at Pluto. It has a perihelion of 4.5 trillion kilometers and an aphelion of 7.5 trillion kilometers, so a very elliptical orbit compared with Venus. It's also got an inclination of 17 degrees to the Earth, highly inclined, so a pretty strange orbit. A few items have special information. So for instance, the Earth does not display information about the Earth from Earth, so it only has these two sets of data. And in the same vein, the Moon does not display information about the distance from the Moon to the Sun, so it displays information about the Moon from Earth and the Moon's orbit around the Earth and data about the Moon. We can also display information about user-defined planets. So for instance, astronomers today are talking about a planet that they believe is yet to be discovered in our solar system, and in fact they're asking for the public's help to find this planet X. So we defined our own planet X, but you could define yours as well, and we've added it to Tidewater Planetarium's model of the solar system. We can display its name just like other planets, and we can display its information. So for example, it has a highly inclined orbit of 70 degrees. And if we'd like to see what that looks like in the solar system view, there's our planet X compared with Earth's orbit, Mars's orbit, and then out to Jupiter's orbit. So planet X's orbit is between Mars and Jupiter at an extremely high incline, and there's the planet rotating on the orbit itself. So information displays can include any of the solar system objects in the current Tidewater Planetarium model.